What's going on, Summoners? Welcome back to another ProGuides Wild Rift video. I'm Kangas, and today we got a lot of changes to talk about. Patch 2.0 might just be the biggest patch yet, and it's bringing balance changes, champion releases, new skins, and more. So make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, and stick around to the end so you don't miss out on any of the news.
There's a lot that's coming this patch, so let's go over our approach for this rundown. We'll start off with our two newest champions, and then we'll talk about the balance changes, including champions and item adjustments. Then we'll finish off by diving into the new features and updates, along with the skins and events that are coming soon. Before we get started though, our question of the day is, what champions do you think are missing from the patch 2.1 notes? If there's anyone that you think needs buffs or nerfs, let us know in the comments below. Okay, so let's start talking about the next two champions that are coming to Wild Rift, Xayah and Rakan. These two Vestians are on a mission to free the magic of Ionia and restore their Vestian birthright, and they'll do whatever it takes to get the job done. Unlike other champions, Xayah and Rakan were actually released on the same day in League of Legends, and Riot is of course continuing the trend over in Wild Rift, just in time for Valentine's Day. I see you, Riot. These two aren't just a pair of lovers though, both champions do have unique gameplay interactions with each other in the game. If Xayah and Rakan are on the same team, they can join each other's recalls at any time. This means that Xayah can keep farming the wave while Rakan starts channeling his recall. Their abilities are also affected, with Xayah giving Rakan additional movement speed and Rakan's ability to shield Xayah from an extended range. This Dragon Lane duo is great for carrying games, so make sure to check them out when they're released later in the patch. If you didn't see Riot's recent post about the rest of patch 2.1, there are 4 more champions coming sometime in late February and March. Katarina, Leona, Diana, and Pantheon will all be playable soon, so make sure to sub to the channel so you can keep up with all the Wild Rift news. Moving on to the balance changes, we've got some juicy changes to talk about, so let's jump right in. Starting off with Corki, he's getting a lot of buffs to his kit so that he can level the playing field against other mages and marksmen in the game. Right now, Corki feels a bit lacking if you compare his damage output to pretty much any other big damage dealers currently in the game. With no real utility, Corki needs to pack a serious punch, so it makes sense that he's getting buffed. The AD ratio on his 1 is being increased to 0.7, giving him a lot more damage on his most usability during the laning phase. His 3 now reduces double the amount of armor and magic resist that it did before, going up to 8, 12, 16, and 20 as you level it up. Finally, his ult is getting a handful of buffs as well. The base damage increased from 80, 95, and 110 to 80, 115, and 150, giving it a real nice boost in the mid and late game. The AD ratio also now scales, increased to 0.45 and 0.65 at the 2nd and 3rd rank respectively. Corki's Big One missiles received the same changes, increasing the base damage and giving it a scaling AD ratio. Corki's gonna hurt now. Overall, these are some huge buffs for Corki's damage, and we'll need to see if Riot's actually buffed him too much over the next few weeks. The next champion on our buff list is Jarvan. He's getting some boost to his damage along with some quality of life buffs that will help make landing his utility easier. Jarvan's base AD per level is increasing from 3.6 to 4.55, giving him a total of about 14 AD when he reaches level 15. His passive also deals a minimum of 20 damage, which is a huge buff in the early game. Jarvan's passive is great in the mid and late game, so it's nice that Riot's helping him out where he needs it most. His signature move, the Dragon Strike to Demacian standard dash combo, now has an increased hitbox size of 2.5. This will make it a lot easier to land your combo on targets that are just a little out of reach. And Jarvan's last buff is to his ult, lowering the dash speed to 0.25 seconds instead of 0.4. Now it'll be harder to flash out of Jarvan's ult range, and good players will be rewarded for reacting quickly to enemies that are clumped up. Jax is also getting some buffs, specifically to his 1 ability. Riot stated that Jax is losing matchups that he shouldn't be, so they're giving him more mobility to deal with those ranged champs. The range on Jax's leap strike is now 6.5 instead of 6, and the cooldown is being lowered in the early game, going from a 9, 8, 7, and 6 second cooldown to a 7.5, 7, 6.5, and 6 second cooldown. If that wasn't enough, the damage is also getting increased by 5 at all ranks. These changes will definitely make playing Jax feel a lot better, so get ready for him to hop all over those team fights. The next champion on our list is Kennen, and oh boy, he's getting gutted. Wild Rift is the perfect kind of game for Kennen, and his burst damage, poke, and teamfighting potential is just way too good right now. To help fix this, Riot is lowering his base AD from 58 to 52 and decreasing his movement speed to 330. The cooldown on Kennen's 2 is going up in the early game, increasing to 15, 12, 9, and 6 seconds at each rank. His 3's base damage is also getting nerfed, going down by 15 damage at each rank. The AP ratio is also being adjusted from 0.8 to 0.7. Finally, to round out nerfs to every single ability, Kennen's ultimate is getting nerfs too, lowering the base damage and decreasing the AP ratio from 0.2 to 0.15. Overall, these are some massive nerfs to Kennen, and he's definitely going to feel weaker to play. We think he'll still have a place in the meta, but hopefully he won't win just every matchup anymore in the game. After some small adjustments, Lee Sin is technically getting nerfed this patch, lowering the knockback range of his ult down to 6.75 from the original 7.5. This honestly isn't as bad as it seems, since right now Lee Sin sometimes kicks enemies too far away to land a follow-up Sonic Wave. Doing that makes him feel really bad to play, so while this is technically a nerf on paper, we don't think it'll do any harm to his performance and might actually make him feel more fun to play in the first place. Tristana is also getting some nice buffs to make her stronger as a dragon laner. Right now her 3 just doesn't pack the punch that it needs to, so to help her out, Riot is buffing all 3 of her basic abilities. Her 1 now gives 50, 70, 90, and 110% bonus attack speed, and the duration is increased from 5 to 7 seconds. Her 2 is getting an extra 15 damage at all ranks as well. Tristana's 3, meanwhile, is getting the most changes, buffing her passive and active damage along with an increase to the AD ratio. These buffs are great, and it'll put Tristana in a much better position to all-in the long-range marksman in the dragon lane. Before we talk about the last 2 champions to get buffed, I gotta remind you, join our Wild Rift Discord community in the link in the description down below. With the official release of Wild Rift coming soon, there isn't a better place to get info about the game, join discussions, and just find some friends to play with. So click that link and join us. Okay, coming back to our balance changes, Twisted Fate is on the list for some buffs to his 2. Riot wants to reward players who choose the best card for every moment, and to do that, they're buffing all 3 of them. Blue card now restores a lot of extra mana, giving it 60, 90, 120, and 150 mana at each rank, and the AP ratio also went up to 0.8 from the original 0.5. Red card, meanwhile, got an adjustment to its AP ratio as well, increasing from 0.5 to 0.65. Gold card's getting a crazy buff to its stun duration, increasing by 0.25 at all ranks. That means late game, you're gonna have a 2-second stun every couple of seconds. That's kinda nuts. And the last champion on our list of balance changes is Yasuo. His ultimate is currently on the weak side, and it's mostly because of how long the animation takes to deal the damage. To help him out, Riot is buffing his base damage on his ultimate, going from 200, 300, and 400 at each rank to 200, 350, and 500. The animation and knockup duration is also going down to 1.25 seconds, which gives Yasuo much more time to fight after his ult goes off. Alright, after that long list of champion changes, let's jump into a much shorter list of item changes. Youmuu's Ghostblade is providing players with too much power, so Riot is changing how the passive actually works. You'll still get the momentum movement speed, but you won't get any bonus magic damage on your next attack. This removes a lot of the unnecessary strength from Ghostblade, and I still think that it'll be a good item, it just won't be broken. Since Dead Man's Plate uses the same momentum system, Riot is actually moving the bonus damage from the momentum passive into the Crushing Blow passive. This is mostly a behind the scenes change, and you won't see a big difference when you use Dead Man's. And the last item nerf is to 2 pretty popular boot enchantments, the Redeeming and Locket enchant. Both of these are fine on their own, but it gets a bit crazy when you have 3 Lockets on your team. To combat this, you'll only get 50% of the shield value if you've been affected by a Locket shield in the last 20 seconds. And the same thing applies to the Redeeming enchant. This will make stacking the same enchantment a lot worse and should increase diversity in the boot department. Our last set of balance changes is to the actual gameplay of Wild Rift. The Hand of Baron buff is getting a nerf to its sieging power, and minions that become empowered will only stay empowered for 5 seconds after a Baron buffed ally moves away. This should make fighting against split pushers a lot easier for the team that's losing. And the final change is to the Rift Scuttler. Now, 2 Scuttlers will spawn on each side of the map at the start of the game. After both are killed, only one will spawn randomly on either side of the map. This change gives junglers a lot more options when it comes to their early pathing. Now that we've gone over all of the balance changes in patch 2.1, let's talk about some of the skins that are coming to Wild Rift. With the upcoming Lunar Revel event, we're getting 6 new Lunar Beast skins for Alistar, Annie, Darius, Fiora, Jarvan IV, and Miss Fortune. We don't have much info on the event itself, but Riot said to expect something soon. As said before, Xayah and Rakan are joining the Wild Rift with their original skins from League, along with the Cosmic Dawn Rakan and Cosmic Dusk Xayah. Something cool about these lovers is that they always get thematic skins together. Along with their cosmic skins, Xayah and Rakan are also getting their Sweetheart skins, of course to fit that Valentine's Day theme in February. We also get to see Sweetheart Sona and Heartseeker Vayne, which are 2 classic skins from the earlier seasons of League. We're guessing that Xayah and Rakan will be released this week, with the Valentine's Day skins coming out sometime next week. And for all you Teemo lovers out there, get your panda suit ready for the best skin in League of Legends coming to Wild Rift. That's right, Panda Teemo is coming to the game, and I'd guess it'll come out around the same time as the rest of the Lunar Beast skins. For all you Omega Squad lovers out there, you're wrong. Panda Teemo, best Teemo. And last but not least, let's talk about some of the new features and updates that are coming in patch 2.1. Riot is finally adding a spectator and replay system, which is a huge addition to the game. Now, you can finally take a look at your games and figure out where things went wrong, or just watch some of your insane outplays. Spectating friends is also a great opportunity to watch the game from an outside perspective, and it's nice to cheer someone on every once in a while. If you don't want to be spectated, you can always turn off Allow Spectators in the settings at any time. We also got a list of the free week champions for the next few weeks. Take a look and see if there's anyone that you're interested in playing.
And that'll wrap up our patch 2.1 rundown. Feel free to sub to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the updates, and also don't forget our question of the day. Thanks for watching, everybody, and as always, best of luck on the Rift, stay hydrated, and I'll see you in the next one.